I hope you're all well. I hope you're all staying warm and dry. Let me just move my bits and pieces here. Yes, I hope you're all nice and warm and dry, unlike myself this morning. Did you see the photo? I was like a drowned rat. Yes, it wasn't very pleasant, but never mind. We got back safe to the car, and obviously we dried out. Well, I dried out fairly quickly. Yes, so I hope you've had a good day. I can see people joining me now, so that's good, as long as I'm in the right place, because you never know. Yes, thank you very much for pinning that to the top there, whoever did that. I expect that might be Gemma Joy. And I'm just going to expand my screen, see who's watching. Let's have a look. Oh, hi Nick. Nick was first. Hi Jem, Denise, and Elaine, Bridget and Rachel, Chris, Nikki, June, Maggie. Oh, Maggie. Millie's just gone out for a walk in the rain. She doesn't like it. She'll come back. I've had to close my door, because when she comes back, well, sometimes John does put a coat on her. But tonight she hasn't got her coat on, so she's going to be soaking. So I've closed the door to my room. She's going to be right fed up about that. Yes, so Maggie, hi there. We've got Cindy and Kathy, Julie, Margaret, Jane, Joyce, Jill, Pat, Jackie, Carol, Yvonne, another Jackie. Oh, Mary from Spain. Yes, I'll tell you about my day in a sec. Violet and Mandy and Eileen and Sandra, Linda, Lisa. Gosh, lots of people watching already. 70. I can't do 70 names. But welcome to my workroom. A little bit tighter than normal. I just had a little bit of a reshuffle of my stuff, because it was starting to look a little bit jaded. It does after 2 or 3 weeks of the same sort of setup. So I've given it a little bit of a spring clean and a tidy up, and yeah, I feel much better for it. Even though it's just a kind of dust down, really. Everything, glitter shoved on the floor. Hoover up later. Yes, I had a good day. Yes, I went to, as you probably already realised, I went to Ely Cathedral with my sister Angela. And we had a lovely time going around all of the stalls there. There must be, I would say there's close to 200 easily. And they're all either in the cathedral, or there's like sort of little shopping villages, if you like, outside with marquees and all their stuff. And yeah, some very interesting stalls. And I always feel that I should buy something from every stall, because you kind of wander by and the stall holder is looking longingly at you, as if to say, please will you? And obviously we did, well, I did, of course, part with some hard-earned dosh, but I got a few bits which I'll talk about in a sec. But yes, it was lovely, and I treated my sister to some fantastic fudge, and she treated me to a mulled wine. So yeah, we had a lovely time, and it was a sort of, well, I suppose, hour and 3/4, and I was getting a bit sort of damp because we were outside by then, although you could go back in. And so I walked back to my car, which was a little way away, because the car parks in Ely, you can park for free, which is amazing. A, difficult to get parked. B, it's only for 2 hours. So I'm figuring, I've got to park up, walk to the cathedral, walk back. So, it wouldn't really be long enough. So I parked kind of on a side road outside of the main area, if you like. So it's a little bit of a walk. It was headwind and rain, and I had my hood up and everything. I was absolutely drenched. And of course, when I got in the car, the glasses steamed up. I should have took them off, really. But anyway, it was lovely. It really was lovely. And I'm going again tomorrow, and lots of the girls are going to be there. So I'm never going to remember everybody's name, but Kath and Jan and Emma are going to be there, and Jackie, Grant and Karen Cogan are going to be there, and Gemma Joy, obviously Abigail and Adrienne, because I'm going with them. I can't think. Oh, there's a couple of the Goldies are going to be there. Kim's going to be there. And Peter and Elaine are going to be there. So whether we bump into them is a different matter. But by the time I left at 11:45, you absolutely could not move. It was heaving. But there we are. That's good, isn't it? It's good to be like that than empty. And I would imagine that people have sold lots of lovely things. And see some of the photographs that I took, you'll have seen what some of the things there are for sale. Very artisan, very lovely, you know, blah, blah, blah. But I bought a couple of bits for Abigail for her, not really for her birthday, but to sort of add to it, if you see what I mean. So I got a couple of bits for her, which obviously I'm not going to show you, but I did get an assortment of fudge. I got chili chocolate fudge, gin and lime fudge, take it or leave it, and Baileys. The Baileys one was nice. And I got, like I say, mulled wine. I got roasted almonds, which... oh, there's none left of those. So yeah, we had a good time. It was nice to get out and about and, you know, have a little, I don't know, you kind of indulge, don't you, in just stuff. And it's kind of a little bit overwhelming because you're surrounded by super stuff. So yeah, if anybody gets the chance to go, I think it's pretty much sold out this year. But next year, then you must go. It's just... super duper. Like I say, there must easily be 200 stalls, if not more. And they had tea and coffee, you know, and they had like breakfast stands, which I'm rather hoping I might have enough room tomorrow. If I only have a packet of crisps for lunch, I might be okay. But yes, so lots of stuff to keep you amused, and it was absolutely super. So let's see what any of the comments are. Donna says we're dry today for the first day in a while. We needed the rain. Well, to be honest, you know, so did we. But we've kind of had this nothingness all year, and then all of a sudden we've got all of the rain. Now, I think, according to Peter, it's going to be, it's not going to rain tomorrow. So it's just the mud baths that we've got to cope with tomorrow. And then, of course, we've got the wonderful workshop on Saturday and Sunday, which I know some of you ladies are coming to. Cindy says her gnome book arrived. That's good. Oh, excellent. Caroline says, evening, just bought the 12 bears. Didn't seem right using the discount, so I didn't. Now, Caroline, I've been refunding everybody that's been wanting to be generous, because that's the deal, and you know, we'll sort it out. Gosh. Kath says hello. We're in Newmarket. Watch out for the horses. Yeah, that's all I can say. You're surrounded, and I think where Kath, Emma, and Jan are staying, it's right beside the gallops. I'm trying to think. I was thinking stud, but actually there is a stud next door and over the road. It's every other building in Newmarket is a stud, and right in the middle of the town, you get the horses coming out of gates, and you have to give way to them. So it's a. Anyway, your girls, you're right near the gallops, and if you get up about 6 tomorrow morning, you will be in for a real treat, because I have to say, as much as I'm not keen on horses, they are beautiful. They are beautiful beasts. Yes, I'm dry now, thanks, Rosemary. Caroline says, hi, all, first time I managed to catch the live in months. Well, that's really nice, Caroline, or Carolyn, I should say. I always get told off for that. Leslie says she's had a clean up of her craft room this week and found oodles of goodies that she had forgotten about. Oh, come on, we're all guilty of that. And also losing stuff. There is something that I've lost. I've got my little tiny wincy mat, but I don't have the next size up mat, the 8x5. I have no idea where that is, and I'm looking around now as I speak, thinking it's got to pop up somewhere. It's got to be. Anyway, oh dear. Nicholas says, me too. I even saw some carpet I hadn't seen for ages. That's right. Different colour to the rest of the room. Yes, it's lovely. Oh, Loretta says she woke up to snow. Oh, we don't want snow. You keep the snow, Loretta. Vicky says, good afternoon. I'm in Tellico Plains, Tennessee. I hope you're staying warm. Well, I've got the heating on. Don't tell John. Although he doesn't mind. But I have a super duper heating system just for this room. Oh, it's toasty. It's lovely. He did say earlier on that he'd pop up and sit up with me for an hour. Oh, dear me. So let's have a look. Yeah. Oh, Diana says, yes, always feel sad walking past stores not buying. I know. I'm racked with guilt. And even if I've had some lovely conversations with people, because their stores look amazing, and then I walk away and don't buy, and you think, oh. But there is one stall I'm going back to, and it's called Wonky something. They're on Instagram. And it's fused glass, and it's super. And I did post a picture of that stall. Oh, Helena says she'll take my gin and lime fudge. Yeah, it's an interesting flavour. Anyway, let's move on. So yes, thank you for commenting. Let's move on. Right, so we've had one new member this week that has decided to join Facebook, and that is Lee Ellard. Thank you very much for joining, Lee. It's wonderful to have you in the group. And if you are actually watching this evening, welcome to your first live. We do things, and for those of you that are new-ish or not new-ish, I don't know if you've seen roasted almonds. I don't know if you saw Jackie's post about the albums. On some phones, it's the actual facility has disappeared, you know. She's reported it, and anybody that doesn't have it, you can report. And I tell you how you report. If you're in Facebook and you want to report something, literally shake your phone, right? Obviously it doesn't work because it's off. Do that. My dad's club card. If you've got to be in Facebook and you literally shake it like that. Oh, I learnt something this week. I think that's brilliant. Yes, and you can report the fact that you've lost some facilities on your phone. But if you use the spyglass facility, if you're on the if you're on the group, if you're in the sew with what's it called? What are we called? Lizzy's got sewing group. I've only been doing it nearly 4 years. If you're in that group, there's a spyglass top right, I think it is. And if you type in album, or if you type in, let's say, sew for 10 or whatever, it'll come up. It'll be there. It's quite an easy thing to do, and I always resort to that if I get stuck. So yeah, so there we are. Yes, and lots of people saying welcome to Lee. Yeah, smashing. Thank you very much for Lee. Oh, there we are. She's saying thanks for the welcome. You're very welcome. It's lovely to have the new members join us. So some people don't, some people do, and that's why I always post the lives after tonight on Gold Members TV, and then you've got it there to watch if you're not a. Sorry, I've got hair on my face now. If you're not a Facebook user, that's what I'm trying to say. Yes, so don't forget about the albums. They're all there, and we still love you to add things to them. And I tell you for why. Because every day, one of the admin pick a picture that's super duper that can go in the top banner. And in order to do that, rather than scrolling through all the discussions that we have through the day or a couple of days, they go to the albums and they look in the albums and they'll pick something out. And if people haven't posted in there, they scroll through and they'll pick up things that are a couple of years old if they think it's what they want to post. We don't have discussions about it. It's everybody's choice. So that's why we say put things in the album, because you might get picked as picture of the day, and that'll be super. It's very exciting. Yeah, so that's that. What else? I can't think of anything else I'm supposed to remind you about. I suspect I should be reminding you about all sorts. Jackie Thomas is going to launch something new on the 1st of December. She's in charge of telling everybody about it. It's kind of like a teaser, but it's not like a teaser. It's a kind of like a warning that something is going to start on Boxing Day. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. It's going to be on my page. It won't be just here in the Gold Group. It will be on my page. But it's something that you might want to join in with. And so our Jackie Thomas will be posting information about that. So keep your diaries free from Boxing Day. And if you know what it's like, if you're not around, you know it doesn't matter, because it'll get posted on the website, it'll be kept on the page, it'll probably go onto YouTube. Well, it will go onto YouTube, so you don't have to worry about missing it. Okay, it's just something that we're doing as a sort of a, you know, thing. Oh dear me. Yes, so there we are. So I just want to make sure there's nothing else I should be saying. I think Kath and the girls will be going out for something to eat now, because they've just literally arrived in Newmarket. I know Jackie and Karen have gone to the pub. Honestly, they live the life of Riley, these lot. They honestly, they do. Right, tonight we're going to do something a little bit different. It's not going to take too long, and we're working with fleece. Now, for those of you that have made, and this is fleecy fleece, not like flannelette, okay? This is fleecy fleece. So if any of you made Flossie, the big quilt, you know, the hearts, lovely. And I have mine out on my landing. I have it covering my bookcase. It's just super. I know some of you did. You may well have spare fleece. As if we're only sewers. Of course we're not going to have any spare stuff. Now I do suggest you do use fleece. I do suggest a knitted fabric if you've got a knitted fabric, because what we're going to do is make that hat. I know, it's on my teddy. I better get it. Come on, Ted. Keeping your ears warm. Now you can adjust. This is stretchy, so although I've stitched it, it will still have a bit of give. I've got a pretty much average size head, I would have said. But measure yours from here round, so you're good to go, okay? And I'm going to give you the measurements as we go along, okay? I'm not going to waste time now. But it's also quite long from here to there. Can you see it's quite long? Now, two things. Firstly, it looks rather lovely. I'm going to show you, I'm going to put it on, show you what it looks like. It looks rather lovely as a slouchy with the kind of tassely bits, yeah? Looks quite nice. But I've got a second plan of how you can actually rookle these up, pleat them up a bit to make it a bit smaller, or you could, somebody says a little bit of spare fleece. Who is that? Oh, Donna. Oh, we're not going till you finish. Oh, crikey, but hurry up, that's Cat. You'll be starving. Get some biscuits. There's only biscuits in your hotel room. Get them. Stuff them in. Get some crisps. Send somebody out. In fact, where you are, there's a couple of little shops. You could just go and get a packet of crisps. Anyway, So yes, you can have it. I'm going to show you how you can gather it up and make it look quite trendy, actually. So never mind. So this is what we're going to make. Right, excuse me for putting it on, and I may look a bit silly for a minute. So there we are. I've got a bit of fluff now. Hold on. Let me get my glasses off. And because we've got a double, I've got to do this right. It's not easy when you're not in front of the mirror. Because you've got a double band here, it's going to keep your ears warm, and you can bring it down a bit more if you like. Now, if I just lower my chair, can you see how that looks? It's kind of slouchy here. So that might be what you like, okay? This is what I needed this morning. I probably could have pulled it down a bit further. But I think you'll agree that it looks really nice. But what I also want to show you, it's got hair, is that you can gather it here and actually make it sort of pleated and crunchy. So I just, sorry, it's falling off my head here because I keep fiddling with it. So I quite liked it like that, but I quite liked it like this, slouchy at the back. I quite like that look. So you can, are you there? Can't hardly see. So yeah, so I thought we could make one of these. You can see how it's done, and then I'll show you how to gather this bit. Or you can just make it a bit not as long, yeah? Not as long. I feel like Santa's little helper. I've got to put my glasses on there. That's it. That's better. Yes. So anyway, so I thought I'd show you the how it how to make it, and then you can please yourself whether you have it long or do the little pleats, which I think is quite nice. I'm going to bring myself up now because that's ridiculous. Anyway, I have to say it looks better without my glasses. That's because it's all blurred. So let's just pop it to one side. You'll have to have it back, Ted, but I'm not putting it on. So we're going to make one of those. Right, you need some fleece, and you need to cut, where's my fleece? You need to cut a piece 25 inches, which is loose-ish around my head. Okay, I'll show you. So, get me tape measure. I just did that. So, loose-ish around my head. It's not tight. It's definitely not, well, it's definitely not tight. It's just sort of sitting there, yeah? And it's 25 inches. Okay, centimetres, oh, let's do it. Well, let's say 63. It's a bit more, 63. But... So you want to cut a piece 20 inches by 20. So it's not a square. A square would be definitely too long. Yep. Unless we did other things, and we can talk about that as we go along. So I'm going to speak properly. I'm going to cut this, but if I put you on the overhead, well, I could, I suppose. Just a sec. Let me just I might have to adjust the camera, just a sec, and then you'll be able to see everything. So I'm going to zoom out a bit. You have to excuse tomorrow's washing. Okay, that's better, isn't it? So we're going to cut a piece 25 by 20, okay? Now, like I said, you'll probably want to measure your head. You may have a bigger head, or you may have a smaller head, okay? So I'd rather you kind of did it for you, really. And then if you want to make another one for a Kiddywinks, then obviously you're going to, you know, measure them. Measure them. But I mean, it's slightly stretchy, and when we do the stitching, you could do a zigzag. I'll tell you when. You can do a zigzag instead of a regular stitch. I have to do a regular stitch because I'm using my Juki. So we're going to take the selvage off. There's no point mucking about with the selvage, and let's just whiz that off. Okay, so we're taking the selvage off. Now I want this bit to be 20 inches. Okay, so this is doubled. So I want from here to here to be 10. I think pretty sure that it's more than that. Yeah, it's 12. So let me just adjust. And I mean, really, you could do this as patchwork, couldn't you, if you wanted, if you got lots of different colours. So, oh, it's 11, crikey. But let's stick to the plan, because I know that any more than that is too big. That'll do. We're about 10 there, look. So if I put it onto my mat, I really need to have a tidy up of my table. So it's a complete mess. We want to cut here. I'm just nearly in the box. I'm nearly in there, but we want to cut there, look. 25 inches. And then you must remember that the 25 length is the one that goes around your head. Okay, so the shorter one, and put a pin in. It's a good thing to do. So we'll put a pin in, and we know that is our long edge, and let's say that could be where the head is. Yeah, where the, you know, yeah, where your forehead is. Right, 25. So let's just cut it, and then all I'm going to do is run my blade along the top. Be brave. It's only fleece, and actually fleece is incredibly forgiving. Now there is a little bit of a right side and wrong side with this fleece. Let me just bring you in now, because that's more appropriate. Whoop. Oh, bit far. That's it, that'll do. If I have to adjust it, I will. Oh, you saw my roots then. Right, so don't forget, that's our 25. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to pick this up, but that's my more fluffy side, and that is not so fluffy side. So I know that this is the wrong side, okay? And I know this is the right side. So what I'll do is, to make it the right side, I'll put 2 pins in. So I know now, not only is that the long edge, but that's telling me that that is the right side. Okay, we can use double pins for all sorts. And then if I wanted to, I could put a single pin in there, but there's little point. Okay, so let me just remember what I'm doing. Let me have a look at the one I made. Just a second. Okay, right. So like I say, this is the long edge. So I now want to make it singular. And I want to bring the wrong side up. Okay, so let me just take my double pins out, and I'm going to take my wrong side up. I'm going to pop them back in again. Okay, and we'll scoot up this end. And what I want to do is I want to turn this over about 2.5 inches. And this is where, if you wanted to, you could adjust. You could make this 3 inches, for instance. What you're doing is that you're making your cuff a little bit wider. So that might really suit you, you know, to have a nice wider cuff. Because this will be really quite cosy on your ears. So we'll just scoot along, and we'll just pop a pin in. So I'm happy now with that double pin. So I'll keep one in, take one out. 2.5. Thereabouts. Like I say, this is incredibly forgiving, so you mustn't worry too much. Please don't, you know, go crazy measuring this. Please don't. There we go. I'm going to move my hat. I might have to refer to it. Okay, so there's our first bit done. I'll just check again that I've got that right, and I have. And we're going to stitch all the way along here. Now you could, if you wanted to keep that stretch, is to do a zigzag. Okay, I'm not going to, because I haven't got my machine out that would do a zigzag. I've only got my machine that does a straight stitch. Okay. Oh, who said that? Oh, just a sec. Let's just get rid of that. I also have something come up on my screen. I think it's my own fault with touching stuff. Let's just go on the side camera. There we go. And I'll bring the machine in. I'll take my needle out now. Let's just move that over there. Yeah, so I'm just, like I say, I'm just using a straight stitch, okay? I'm going to just move you in a tad. I'm just going to zoom you in a tad. Not much, because there's not much to see, really. That'll do. Oh, I'm going to turn my heater off. Just bear with. It's like an oven in here now. God blimey. Okay. That's a bit better, isn't it? Okay. So there we are. Yeah. So we're going to do a top stitch just to hold that down. Now, because we're working through quite thick fabrics here, we need to whip the stitch length up to 3, and I'm stitching about 1/4 inch from the edge. You'll see it curl as I sort of go past. And like I say, you could use a zigzag, And the zigzag could go over the edge there, or you can do what I'm doing, and we shall see it more closely in a minute. You're just literally doing, and don't forget, of course, I'm using white thread or cream thread because, of course, that's what's on my machine. So you might want to use, obviously, a pink or something like that. So, all the way along. There we go. No need to do a back stitch. So let's just push that out of the way. So now you can see if I take my pins out, because my pins were nowhere near where I was stitching. We now let me just move that as well. You can see I've just literally, you can see what it looks like. Now, like I say, you could, if you've got a cover stitch machine, you might be really lucky. I've got one, and I think I've used it a few times, but I don't use it very often because it's a bit sort of niche, isn't it? So I tend not to use it with you guys. But if you've got a cover stitch, you'll use that. If you've done a zigzag over there to hold the whole edge down, brilliant. As I haven't, you can see, all I'm going to do now is trim that edge. So I'm going to all I'm going to do is literally run my scissors down that seam. I'd probably be easier doing it the other way. So can you see what that looks like now? Just to neaten it up. I think it would be easier if I went this way. So let's just trim that back. And of course with fleece, you don't have to worry at all about frayed edges or things unravelling. It's just a fabulous product to work with. Your machines should easily cope with it. There is one little bit where it might struggle, and I'll talk to you about that, which is going to come up next. So we'll just trim just to make it super tidy, and there we are. I mean, you could, if you wanted to, if you're feeling really brave, you could stitch that close anyway. But as you're stitching, it kind of curls a little bit. So, so there we are. So that's the first bit. Okay, so we've cut a rectangle, 25, that's my measurement, by 20. We've turned this up, this cuff, 2.5 inches. And now what we're going to do is turn it up again. So I'm just going to sort of get a different angle for you. So we're then going to, got some thread, let me just get rid of that. There we go. So we're now going to turn it up again like that. Now you will see a row of stitching, can you see? So ideally you want to turn it up on the seam. So if I hold that up, oh gosh, it's a bit dusty, that fleece. So ideally you're going to see that fold on the stitch line on that fold. Now, so this is what I was saying about you could make the cuff, this cuff here, a lot bigger, okay? You could turn this up, you know, like sort of 3 inches, 4 inches, and then use that as your guide to turn that up, okay? That's how it is going to look. And what we need to do then is right sides together. So this whole bit is going to be folded along, okay? You're not going to do anything else other than fold it. It'll find its own place, okay? And then what we need to do, as I said, is right sides together. So bring your piece over. So now you've got wrong sides showing and your cuff sitting on top of each other. Now then, you possibly will find this quite tricky because we've got 6 layers of fleece. Now I know my machine will do it because it's got a very powerful motor, but if you haven't got a powerful motor, yes, of course you could use pinking shears. There's no need because it doesn't actually fray, but if you want it to be decorative, of course use pinking shears. So if your machine cannot cope with all of those layers, what I want you to do is keep that open like that and fold just the 2 layers. So in other words, you've got your cuff here, and you're putting those on top of each other, okay? And then you've only got 4 layers to go through. And it doesn't make a jot of difference, because then you can flip that up when you're done. Shall we do it that way anyway? Because I would say most people would probably want to do it this way. So let's do it that way. I think that would be a very sensible plan. So right sides together. Now we're stitching along the 2 20-inch lengths, you know, that it's going to go from your forehead up to the tassel. Gosh, that's not a very good bit stitched. I'm glad you can't see it. So so just put a couple of pins in if you want. Now again, because fleece doesn't fray, there is absolutely no need to neaten this seam. Okay, we're going to stitch from there across to there. Use your pinking shears if you want. It'll make it look decorative. It won't do anything for it other than decorative. But what you could do is excuse me, machine along there and zigzag, trim, always trim, and then zigzag that edge to make it look neat. Obviously, if you've got an overlocker, you will overlock that, okay? And that's a good opportunity to get your overlocker out, give it a dust down, and you could overlock that easily. And even if you overlock in white thread, it's perfectly fine, most acceptable. If you have a look inside a lot of your garments that you wear and have a look at the overlocking, it won't necessarily be the same colour as your outfit, as your, you know, your main fabric. So with only the 4 layers, now I'm going to aim for 1/4 inch, but it's more likely to be 3/8, because that gives me a fair old crack of the whip. The other thing is, don't let it go off the edge. The other thing is, we can trim this back if we want to, okay? So, and it's not essential, really not essential. So just make your way down. I'm going to take my pins out, so I don't need them. And you're going all the way down. Now look, when you go to make these, you'll make them in half an hour, if that. But we take our time on a demo so you can take it all in. But when you come to make it, gosh, you're going to have such fun. And you can make these for Christmas presents, because they really do look good. They really do look good. So let's have a quick look again. So we stitched that seam up there, and you can see what it looks like. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. But you could zigzag that if you wanted to. Okay. What is nice is if you neaten it. So I'm going to get my little short ruler in, and I'm just going to make all of this really neat. Nobody's going to see it except you, or if your hat flies off in high winds, and then somebody else might pick it up for you, and they'll look inside and judge you, obviously not, on your seamage. If they do, send them to me. I'm in the mood, sort them out. Right, so let's just go through all these layers. There we go. I didn't think I'd cut that. So you can trim them right back. That's what I'm trying to say. Trim the threads, make it nice and neat. And like I say, if you're making this for a gift, you know, you might want to neaten everything and make it look beautiful, but you can see what it looks like. It looks fab. Okay, so when we turn it through to the right side, which is obviously, because it will confuse you, because you've got a raw edge here now, look. Do you see? You've got this raw edge, and you'll think, oh, that's not the right side, but it is, because this is the right side of my fabric. We did pins and everything. So you can turn this up now, and turn it up so you can't, the seam sort of sits on the fold, okay? The seam sits on the fold. Now, of course, you will see this little bit here. If we did it the other way, you wouldn't see it. But you know what? that doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother me. It looks neat. I mean, I could trim some of these bits down so it looks even better. So it depends on whether your machine will take the 6 layers. Okay, really dependent on that. And then what you could do is catch it. Do a little stitch here to catch it. And then it will stay, and it's going to sit like that. Okay. And then it will stay lovely, and when you put that on it will just look gorgeous. And of course you could put some embroidery on here, you could put some applique on here, you could do some hearts, you could do all sorts. Okay, the next thing, I'm going to put it back to how it was. The next thing is we're going to draw a line. Oh, I went a bit fuzzy then. Let me just sit still for a minute. We're going to draw a line 5 inches along here. So if you can see where I've got the full width here. This is the cuff, this is what's going to be the tassels, yeah? So what I want you to do is get your pen, heat erasable, and we're going to draw a line 5 inches from the top. Okay, so like that. And obviously it will come out, and by the time you've done what we're going to do, you won't see it anyway. So all the way along, you see my drawing, and again like that. And of course you could do these for fundraising, couldn't you? So there's lots of things that you can make. You could make these all for kids for Christmas, or for the grandchildren, or whoever. And you could make them for your local charity as well, all sorts. Okay, so now we know with that 5-inch line going across there, that's as far as we dare. Okay, that's as far as we dare, because we're going to now use our rotary cutter and we're going to cut up to that, well, not up to that line, just before. Okay, just before. I want you to stop just before. So I'm going to have to stand up, guys. So just stop a bit before, and if you want to, because I know some of you will, measure your the widths between each strip. Do you see? If I move them a bit, you'll see. So you might want to measure that, or you might be, you know, perfectly fine. If you've got one of those stripology rulers, then you could use that, couldn't you? Because they're fairly good for that sort of stuff. But I'm just going to work my way along. And you can go through the 2 layers of fleece very easily. So you can see I suppose I'm about 1/2 inch from my line, but you could go a bit further if you wanted. There we are. So we've got the right side, I'm just looking for my seam. We've got the right side facing us. Yeah, that'll do. There we go. So now we've got our tassels, do you see? And then it's a case of using that line now to draw this up. Okay, now again you might want to choose your threads. I'm going to use white because you probably won't ever see it. Well, I'm pretty sure you won't ever see it. Now I'm using, actually this is Sashiko thread and I shouldn't be using it, but but you need like a perle thread. You want or 5, six skeins of your embroidery thread. You want and a good needle. Okay, you want a strong needle, and you want really strong thread, because this is what's going to hold everything together. I'm using to be precise, a size 22 crewel needle. Let me just put that down. Crewel needle? No. What is it? A chenille tapestry. Yeah, that's the one. A size 22, because it's nice and strong. And we're going to do this double. So, because again, we want it to be strong. Because, like I say, it's going to hold your tassels. It's going to hold everything in place. So, do it double, and then just thread as normal. Okay, so you've got a double length of thread, okay? And you're going to come up from the inside. So we could start where the seam is, couldn't we? It doesn't matter. We're going to start where the seam is. So you want to start inside. And I'm going to start, I suppose I could have come in that way, but I'm going to start on my line. I've drawn my line, so I might as well use it. Now I don't want you to knot this end off. What I really would like you to do is to get a safety pin and pin that end to your fleece so you don't lose it. Okay, I don't want you to knot it. I don't want you to secure it in any way. And then what we're going to do kind of 1/2 inch long stitches, centimetre long stitches with a 1/2 inch gap. So in and out. Nice big long running stitch. If you think a smaller stitch will do, it won't, because you're working with really thick fleece. And it won't gather up any better. I promise you it won't. But you're just going to do a nice running stitch. Again, you might want to use pink thread, or, you know, if you're doing a plique on the front with a heart or something, then use that colour, you know, anything. But you're really not going to see it, so it doesn't matter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it slightly as I go, so I know my thread is going to be long enough. But all I'm doing is following my line that I just drew, and it's very mindful actually. For those of you that don't like hand stitching, and I understand your hands might get sore, this isn't too bad because the needle is quite big. The hole in the needle is really big because it's like almost like a tapestry needle. If you use what I'm using, which is this chenille 22, it's nice and sharp, so it goes through the fabric easily, and it's nice big stitches. You can see the size of my stitches, about 1/2 inch thereabouts. Don't measure it. And you're just going to work your way along, and you've got to do this on the right side, okay? So if you can see your cuff, you know it's the right side. If you do this on the inside, well, do it and see. Get some more thread ready for when you have to unpick. So I speak from experience. So yeah, we're just coming to the end now. So it doesn't take long. And actually, you know, whoever said about the pinking shears, you know what? Instead of using your rotary cutter, that's a bit thick, that one, but anyway, instead of using your rotary cutter, use the pinking shears to get a serrated edge on your tassels. That would look amazing. Good idea. Gosh, whose idea was that? Right, so there we are. So we're back to the beginning. And what we want to do is we want to take that thread. So I can undo this one now. Okay. Always keep a safety pin in your pin cushion. It's very handy. So that's nice now. It's just sort of sitting there. And what I'm going to do is I want to take this thread through to the inside. So I'm just literally going to find a little space and pop that through. Okay, and then it comes through the other side. Okay, so it's a bit of a little stitch, but if you can keep it as a big stitch, that's better. So I'm just getting hold of the other end, and I'm now going to turn it through like that. Let's just make sure all of those tassels stay inside. Okay, so you've got this sort of hole going on. I'm going to unthread my needle, pop it back, and then I'm going to gather all this up. Now, because we're using a lovely strong thread, you can give it a little bit of a tug and a pull, okay? It will take that because it's a really strong thread, especially if you use perlé. Ideally, you're going to get somebody to hold that in case it slips. Let me just trim that off. But if you haven't got anybody to hand, it's not essential. So when you do that first knot, just keep giving it a pull and make sure it's tight. and then you want to do at least 2 or 3 more knots just to make sure, and then just snip that away. Okay, you can see that really well. So that's just my little thingy, and you can, you know, that's going to just sit at the top of your hat, it's fine. But when we turn it back, I defy anybody to see my white stitches. Okay, no stitches have been harmed in the making of this hat. But what you've got is a super duper hat that is now ready to flaunt your way around the craft fairs. Okay, so if I show you what it looks like on, I do this for you guys, right? so don't forget, you could catch this so it doesn't come down. So that's how it looks. Now, I prefer it like that. Okay, so we've got lots of creases and fiddly bits going on there, and I like that. I've always liked a lot of fleece going on here. I've always liked a slouchy hat. If I see you tomorrow, I'll be wearing this, okay, with my heart. You know, my you know, the heart that we made for the cushion, which I think is on a jumper somewhere. I'll be wearing this tomorrow. But what we want to do is, I'll show you how to do some little tucks in here just to bring it all together. Now this is where you probably want same colour thread. We'll do it from the inside, so we'll just do little stitches from the inside, but I'm going to show you what to do. Okay, but I do quite like the slouchiness of that, whereas you might not. So let's just gosh, there's so much fluff going on. Right, so we're going to turn it inside out. So no, it's no wonder I cough and splutter my way through. And put the seam at the back. Obviously you've got your tassels inside now, so just be careful you don't stitch them. I really want to use pink. Hold on a minute, folks, because if I do wear this tomorrow, I know you'll be checking me out for my stitches. So let's just have a look, see what's in my little box. Did you see my fabric I did on Sunday? Look at this. Isn't that lovely? That's my stitching I did on Sunday. There's some lovely antique French fabrics in amongst that lot. Very delicious. Right, oh, have a look. We've got some pink. Look at that. We've got some pink threads. These are Sashiko threads again, but they'll be just the job. Look at that. That will do. That will do nicely. I'll put it back on my table because Millie Dog has got really naughty lately. After her being so poorly, she had severe pancreatitis, I think it is, and she was poorly for about, well, a good 2 weeks. Sorry, I'm fiddling, but I want to make sure I open this right. And then she's obviously got better. Oh well. Oh, here we go. And since then she's been particularly naughty. So this time I'm going to just use a single thread, and I'm going to do a little knot. Now look, you don't have to do this. This is just an extra thing that you might want to think about. So we're going to start about halfway up, and I'm going to put my needle in. Make sure that's secure. I would probably put another stitch in, but don't forget you're going to see this on the front, so be thoughtful about what you're doing. And what you're going to do is you're going to go up, try and get it so you're going in a straight line. I know that's not easy, but you might want to perhaps get your ruler, do yourself some lines, and then just take it up, and then just, can you see, just pinch it slightly and do a little back stitch to just catch that pinch. And you just want to make sure you don't lose that pinch. And then go up again Oh, I want to go that way. So you're going on the top, on the wrong side, a long stitch, let's say, well, a good 1/2 inch, you can see it. And then a little stitch which will show on the right side of your hat, okay? And then you're just going to pull it, yeah, and do a back stitch to secure it. Okay, let me just make sure that that's my, yeah, so keep it pulled, do a back stitch, pull it tight, and then you're securing it. Now look, can you see what's happening? So what you have to do, I would do it at least, well, I would say every 3 inches, and you're going to go up towards near the top of your hat, because that's that will then draw that all up. It'll be quite nice actually. So another 1/2 inch, draw it up to make a little pleat. Just make sure you keep that like that. Do a back stitch to secure, so you can see how that's starting to look. But obviously I don't know if I'm going straight here or not, guys, but you know, you get the gist. And then when you put it on, you'll have that pleating effect on your hat, which will still give you all of that lovely coziness and all that lovely fabric. So it won't be like a beanie. Gosh, that's, you know, we don't do beanies, do we, at our age? But that will give you that effect. So if I turn that through, I'm going to keep my needle in there because I'm going to finish that off when I go downstairs. If we turn that through carefully, can you see what we've done? Reminds me of something. I don't know what it reminds me of, but it does remind me. Anyway, so you're continuing up. I would go sort of another couple of inches, okay? And that reduces the bulk. And you're going to do it all round, every sort of, I think every 3 inches would be quite nice. But that will still give you that lovely slouchy look, and it will still give you all that lovely volume of fleece and interest. You've now become your own designer. Yeah, so there we are. What do you think? Do we like it? Do we like it? I'm not going to put it on because I've got a needle in there. But obviously that's made it... Can you see how that looks? It's nice, isn't it? And like I say, I would catch that back bit so it stays put. I wouldn't catch the front unless you put a brooch. You could put a brooch, like, you know, if you've made a heart, you could put a brooch on there and to sort of secure it. I've got a brooch, just a sec. I don't know where the one is that I made. It's orange. Talk about clash. But my friend Jackie Cardy made this. Look her up. She has an Etsy shop. She sells these things. Gosh, she's brilliant. She was a great friend of my mum's. Right, so let's put it on the left. What would be the left-hand side? It's got to go through all those layers. Let's just pin it through. Oh, that's it. It's probably right in the wrong place. But you see, if you have a little... Oh, it looks nice, doesn't it? Not sure about the orange. But you could have a brooch there. In fact, if you have an old-fashioned brooch, a real Victorian with pearls and goodness knows what else, because Victorians did jewellery very well, you could put that on there as well. Don't put it in the middle, just put it to the side. If you put it in the middle, you look like you're going in the army. So put it to one side. I'll have to try and find my heart, because I was quite pleased with how that turned out. Oh, I think it's on one of my cardigans. Yes, from when I did the workshop on Sunday. I thought I'd be trendy and wear my heart. Can you see what I made? There, look. There. It's nice, isn't it? Anyway, there we are. Hope you like it. I'm going to go downstairs and finish stitching that now. And then if you see me tomorrow, look for a pink flossy hat. Because it is a bit like Flossie, isn't it? Right, I hope you're all okay. A bit like Canadian smocking, is it? Right. Oh, somebody said no love, orange and pink together. Oh, that's Diana. Now we want photos, Peter. Oh, what's Peter doing? Peter's going to be there tomorrow. Let me just sort this screen out. What has Peter said? Let's have a look. Oh, I might look right daft with a slouchy tassely hat. Oh, you won't. You'd be so cool and trendy, Peter, and none of us would laugh or anything. Much. Not much. So get your fleece out, get cutting. You've got this live that you can keep referring to if you want. I could kind of do a quick précis up the top of the page if you want, you know, but you've got this live, and that's the main thing, isn't it? Because I go over things really well. Well, you know what I mean, thoroughly. So there we are. Good. Oh, Tricia says reminds me of smocking. Ah, yes, I see what you mean about gathering up the dots. Yes. Oh, I used to love doing that with my girls. I've got a teddy bear somewhere. Shall I show you? Have I shown you the teddy bear? Let me go and get it. It's very, very delicate. I want him to go to the repair shop because he's in a sorry old state. I keep him in the dark now because he's in such a sorry state, and I'm so sad. And it's nobody's fault. It's not my teddy. It's Adrienne's teddy, and he's called Uncle Tim's Ted. Okay, called Uncle Tim's Ted. Let me just show you. There we are. So he's wrapped up because I don't want the sun getting to him. Oh, he's upside down. Oh, there's his dress. Look. He's upside down because his face is disintegrating. I don't want you to... I hope you're not squeamish. But every time I touch him, all of this goes into dust. So he needs all of that rebuilt. Yeah. Yeah. Look. Oh. So I'll just turn him back again because you don't want to see him with his brains coming out. But back in the day... I made Adrienne this dress, okay, literally for Adrienne. So it's falling apart now. I mean, gosh, what is it? Probably, I don't know, 38 years old, something like that. And so I would have made her this identical dress, and then I always used to make a second one for their teddy bears. So obviously this one fits Uncle Tim's Ted. So you can see the colour of it. That's what it should be, and that's what it is. But I used to do all this smocking here, and I loved it. And everything about this dress is identical to the one I made her. So you can see he's been sitting on a windowsill. So don't sit your toys on a windowsill. But yes, so buttons with buttonholes. And I would have made the dress, and then I always made them an identical one for their teddies, always. So I did little buttons, and they had all this. She had all this black lace with ties that used to tie nice and loosely around her arms. Gosh, look at that. Anyway, Uncle Tim's Ted needs to go to the doctors at some point. Like I say, I'd love to take him to the teddy bear ladies. I have contacted them once, but you know, you don't get any reply, do you? You know, and I was ever so polite. So he has to go back on the shelf now and just keep safe. He's in his cling film type stuff, bubble wrap. Anyway, look, I've got to go. I've got to finish my hat now, haven't I? So I will see you all. Actually, I'm going to do a quick live tomorrow, about sort of tea time-ish, with the total of how much money we've raised. I can tell you now, and I don't know the exact figure, but I can tell you now we have gone over £7,000. I know, gone over £7,000. But tomorrow we'll have the proper total. So I will be live at some point on my page, not here in the group, on my page, and I will tell you how much we've raised. And thank you to everybody that has donated. incredible, absolutely incredible. I can't thank you enough. And if you want to see some true inspiration, look at the wall hanging that Sue Howell has done, and look at the quilts and cushions that our Nicola has done. Outstanding, totally outstanding. And who'd have thought 1st of January that this is where we'd be at? Not me. So thank you very, very much. Right, I'm going because I've got stuff to do. And I'll see you perhaps tomorrow night. If not, I'll see you on Monday, because we're doing Making It Monday, and it's been in full sight all through the live. Okay, I'll speak to you all soon. Bye bye everybody.